Hello, my name is HQ of HQ Reacts. Welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream, and click the notification button for new content.
Hey. This is HQ. We in the house. We done had some things hit the news. You know what? When you don't really pay attention to the news a lot, and things happen in the news, you like, I didn't even know these kind of things be happening. I was like, I don't know people be doing this kind of stuff just all the time. It's like every day. I don't want to say this country is in an epidemic. I don't want to see the country as we having problems with this country. But something is going on that people get murked every day by family members, by people all the time. I did not know people did this every day. I just been living my life. Today we got family members. Goofy stuff we done heard in the news. We didn't believe it until I was just reading over it, yesterday, early today. People just offing people. I did not know it happened this frequent.
So, who shot Travis?
Those two dudes, only two in the car.
A South Carolina man clings on to life after being found shot multiple times in his own car. As detectives close in on who's responsible for the shooting, they learn multiple men were involved. But shockingly, the victim was set up by someone in his own family.
I know you're not telling me the truth about what happened. Am I right? Okay. Am I right? You need to get in front of this.
We'll tell you where the case stands now as one of the killers just learned his fate. This is Inside the Crime presented by Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Milner. In some families, cousins are the best of friends, right? But clearly not this case, because this is a case where you have a cousin actively plotting against their other cousin. Right. First, the plan was to rob him, but then the victim ended up dead.
And what's he say? Just like,
I will pay you when I pay you.
Okay.
That was, in person, that was his exact words.
Okay. I'm gonna pay you when I pay you.
Why you bugging? I'm gonna pay you when I pay you.
When did you see him after?
That was his last words to me.
Let's start from the beginning. On October 30th of 2021, police officers in Charleston, South Carolina were called to the Pinecrest Green apartments. That's where they found 22-year-old Travis Green Jr. suffering from multiple gunshot wounds in the driver's seat of his car. Dashcam video shows officers and emergency responders pulling Travis out of his car as he tried to save his life. He was then rushed to the Medical University of South Carolina Hospital, but he died from his injuries. For those close to Travis, the news of the murder was devastating.
Travis is dead! Travis is dead!
That's coming.
Okay.
Tabitha.
Why?
Listen, that's why
Tell
I
me
need
what.
your help.
Tell me what.
Tabitha, I need your help.
Tell me what happened first.
She got orange hair. She got orange hair like a orangutan. What the fuck going on?
Please.
It's okay. Around 2:30 today, the police department got a phone call for some shots fired over on Raoul Wallenberg. That's in West Ashley behind the berry patch. They found Travis in his Jaguar with some gunshot wounds. They rushed him to the hospital. They weren't able to.
This is that crabs in a barrel mentality. When you poor, survival is the only thing. And I can only say, when you're poor, this is when most of the crime happens, in poor neighborhoods, because you don't have nothing to live for, look forward to, or do to care about anybody else.
Oh my God, you don't know what Travis has been to me and my kids.
That's what we need to know.
Oh my God.
I need you to talk, Tabitha. I need you to talk to us now. This is hard. I know it. You know Travis. We don't. Okay, so I need you to take a breath. Okay.
Clear me behind him.
It's okay. It's okay.
Detectives needed to learn more about Travis. Who were his friends? Who wanted him dead? But there was one thing Tabitha revealed to investigators that could point to a possible motive.
Let's
There was a
see.
neighborhood he used to always go into.
This was called Pinecrest.
That's what I'm saying. When you don't give nobody hope, when they don't have no hope, and they living in a crab, they living in a barrel full of other crabs. Family, you'll get hurt by family too.
I seen him there before on the GPS. I used to
You
share.
tracked him?
He used to share his location with me. Well, he didn't know he was sharing his location with me. But when he started selling drugs, I made him share his location with me. And literally a couple of weeks ago, because we got into it when he blocked me, I guess it disconnected it. But he's been there before, Pinecrest. He's been there before.
Was this possibly a drug deal gone wrong? It didn't take detectives long before they found a suspect.
When's the last time you talked to Travis?
Can you
Because-
give me my phone real quick, sir?
So what we're gonna do with your phone is we're just gonna put it on the table so that I can kind of see like, what you're doing. Okay. Okay. Is that an Apple iPhone? Is that a new one?
Yes, ma'am.
That's 13?
No, ma'am. That's the
I was gonna
12.
say that's
12, okay,
ginormous.
The last time I talked to him was like September 5th.
September 5th. Do you mind if I take a screenshot of that?
I don't care.
I thought I had.
Look at the messages.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, where's my phone? I thought I grabbed it. I guess I grabbed the wrong phone. So it was September 5th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
How you related to somebody and you off them? How much money do drug dealers actually have on them that would make you? What would make you shoot somebody over a thought? Well, I guess if you poor, I guess.
It says I'm gonna pay you back 75, and that was at 9:44 a.m. Where you at? I'm gonna swing when I pop out for the day. I'm gonna pay you back, not today though, when I get them. And then on September 10th, you asked him if you got my bread at 5:20. Okay. What are you talking about there? Like what's going on?
Yeah, owe me some money, and like I know he had it, but he was like trying to like beat around the bush, like like I'm gonna pay you back when I pay you back. So that's when like we just had like a little.
So he owed you that much money, thousands of dollars that you would take his life. I'm not saying he did it. I'm just saying I know that can't be the motive. $200 can't be why you off somebody.
Falling up, like we exchanged words, separately. So then that's the last time we actually like talked to each other.
The man investigators are questioning is Antonio Jerome Green. It's not a coincidence Travis carries the same last name because the two are first cousins. Could a simple spat over $75 really be the reason Travis is dead? Diving through this interrogation, I needed a lot of fuel, but a lot of supplements and bars for on-the-go snacking can be a mess with misleading labels and really complicated ingredients. That's why I love what our sponsor Equip is doing. With clean nutrition, real food first, transparent sourcing, first order, or 35% off your first subscription. Thanks to Equip for making the best bar on the market and for partnering with me.
When was this falling out? Right then? On the September 5th?
And that's your first cousin. Your first cousin?
September 2nd.
Okay.
Oh no,
Let me see. You mind if I scroll through there?
yeah.
I mean, with a relative, you would have gave a little bit of leeway. You would at least would have gave relatives more leeway than that. At least you're supposed to. At least, you know, I grew up with my first cousins. We were way close. That's crazy. If he had anything to do with it, we don't know so far.
Yeah, September 2nd.
So September 2nd at 2:30 p.m. Yo, where you at? North.
Exactly, Elliot, exactly.
What's that mean, North Charleston?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for how long? Eating La Hacienda for about 30 minutes. What you got going on? You say, I need weed. How much? 2 zips. So like 2 Ziplocs? I'm asking.
Yeah,
Okay. What zips mean?
ounces.
Ounces? Okay. Listen, I know my last name is Doobie, but I was a drinker, okay?
Yes.
I did not do any kind of drugs. I was a drinker, so and I'm not the drug police.
Yes.
I'm the murder police, all right? So I'm gonna ask these dumb questions
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you are sitting here going like, really, like you're asking?
No, I just
Because
saying I just saying it because you like.
Because you sound real white. and
No, not because of that. It's just like what you're looking at.
Oh, I gotcha. Oh, like drug. Yeah, I gotcha. If that was the case, there'd be a lot of other people that would be locked up. Trust me. Pull up Laha and get my car keys. Which one?
See, they still close with each other, apparently, and they talking like they relatives X, Y, and Z. When did that turn around?
The one in the outlet. Talking about the Tinker outlet. Sure.
I mean, the whole point is, does he have remorse? Does he have any remorse? It seems as though he's trying to not say anything so he won't get in trouble. You're holding yourself so tight that I don't want to say something wrong. Most people, if they were really close with their first cousin, they'd be hysterical in that room, regardless of whether they a guy or not. He would be upset. He don't seem upset. Upset, really.
Still want Presh? What's Presh? What do you mean by that?
Weed. Yes, ma'am.
Did you not go pick it up from him earlier?
No,
Huh?
ma'am.
Because that was 2:30, and then that message was at 5:03.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't go to it.
Okay. Where would he get his stuff from?
Yeah, actually, I don't do all that.
Okay. Was it local?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
He's his first cousin. They supposed to be close. We don't know whether they're close or not. He don't know where you don't know where your cousin is getting his weed from. Your cousin didn't share that with you. You his first cousin. Y'all real close, supposedly, which you really are supposed to be. You live in the same town. If your first cousins, 9 times out of 10, you should be close. And your cousin never told you where he got his weed from?
So you guys had this issue. What time on this did you have this issue at?
Right here.
Like you said that you guys had the issue since the 2nd.
Yes, ma'am.
You can be honest. Listen, there's a lot of I already know, okay? And if you try to, like, say and try to hide that you do, and it makes you look bad, okay? Because there's I already know. I've been doing this since he was murdered at 4:30 yesterday.
Yes, ma'am.
I worked till 4 o'clock last night,
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
Or this morning, technically.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I was back at it at 10 o'clock today.
Yes.
So there is stuff that I
Right.
know is going to come out. And then I know, and I looked at him, I said, dude, he is like, seemed very like, yes, ma'am. Like,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know, so one of those.
Yeah, very calm. Ain't thinking about X, Y, and Z. You just too calm. I be in there talking about who did it. Who did it? X, Y, and Z. They're gonna be hell to pay. Who did it? He ain't doing none of that. He just blasé about it. Yeah, you know who did it. The point is, if you didn't do it and you know who did it, you still a shitty ass cousin. Either way, come down the pike, you're a shitty ass fucking cousin.
Things that I'm gonna walk out of here, look at some stuff, and be like, why is he lying about that?
We
So
just want to have an
just
honest
be-
conversation.
honest.
That's yes, I'm being
You know what I mean? Just be
Right.
honest.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because I know it, and then I'm gonna be like, why is he covering this up? And it makes you look bad, and it makes it look suspicious, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this was over some lien, correct?
No, ma'am.
No. What was it over?
I gave him quote to go take somebody.
Okay.
Well, I called, like, I credit it to somebody that I know, so really, like, I owed that person. But he knew that, but he was about to go take it to somebody and bring my money right back or something like that. So, I was waiting. So now me and that person, now it looked like I got that person waiting, like, when really it wasn't even for me, it was for him. So now he, like, leaving me in the blind. So that's really where that, like, whole thing between us came up.
Okay. So on the
What?
the second. Okay. So tell me kind of how that went down. So was it earlier in the day?
Yeah, I believe it was on the first.
Does he sound like he got an accent to you guys? I can't tell whether he got an accent or not. It just seemed like he got an accent. I don't know, African, Jamaican, something. To me, it just didn't sound like it. That's it.
It was a night. It was
Okay.
nighttime.
Okay.
The message just started like the next day or something like that.
Okay. So the night before the messages start, okay, you have coke. Okay. You give it to him
To take to somebody.
to take to somebody. Okay. So you get it off credit from one person to take, you give it to Travis to take to one person.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, I can too. I'm hearing little by little.
He
And he was
never,
supposed to bring you back money for it.
Yes,
he was supposed to bring, did he ever take it to that person that you are aware of?
That I'm aware of. He left to do that.
Okay, so he left it with the person he was supposed to, but he
I
never gave you.
I never saw him until like the next day because I went in the house for work.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So he never paid you back your money, and then you start saying, "Hey,
That's the problem, white man from town. You seem to think that we're all from that neighborhood. I'm not from that kind of neighborhood. I was a upper middle class person, so I don't know anything about these people except I used to work with these people. Why don't you just stick to the cultural bigotry to that particular thing? Not all of us know anything about it. Not all of us born in that neighborhood. Okay.
listen, where's my money?"
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what's he say? Just like,
I'm gonna pay you when I pay you. But
okay,
that was in person. That was his exact words.
okay, I'm gonna pay you when I pay you.
Like, yeah, like, why you bugging? I'm gonna pay you when I pay you.
When did you see him after?
That was his last one.
So basically, you couldn't cover what he took. You couldn't cover the coke that he borrowed from you. He borrowed coke from you so he could take it to somebody else. So he couldn't cover for you. Maybe he didn't get no money. Man, this probably could have been avoidable if he's the one. It only makes sense. He said, "I'll give it to you when I give it to you." Wow.
When was the last time you saw him physically?
Around like the second.
Around the second.
If I'd have gave him to my, I'd have been, ass out for my cousin. I'd have been like, "Bro, you got me ass out. You got me hanging out here like this. I'm gonna take this short, but you got to give me that money as soon as you can give it to me. Maybe we'll try. Let's put some money together and we can cover it somehow out of our money. Maybe we can cover some out of our money, but to hurt somebody because of that."
Okay. Where did you guys meet up at?
His dad's house.
His dad's house. Okay. And that's on Sequoia? Where does his dad live?
In Ardmore.
Ardmore? Okay. So that's the last time you saw him.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you guys kind of text message back and forth, like, where's
Yes,
the
ma'am.
money and stuff like that.
Yes, ma'am.
So, did you, like, ever threaten him or anything like that?
No, ma'am. I did this little thing on Facebook because like I know him, so I know like how I get his attention, but it never got his attention.
But what Antonio didn't know was investigators were able to obtain surveillance video showing him nearby the area where Travis was killed, despite Antonio saying earlier he hadn't seen his cousin in weeks.
All right, AJ, I'm gonna be upfront with you, okay? You know there's cameras all over the place.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just told you there's cameras all over
Yes,
the
ma'am.
place. You are you seem very respectful.
Yes, ma'am.
But I don't think you're telling me. I know you're not telling me the truth about what happened yesterday. Okay. Am I right?
Either he did it or he set him up. Oh, that's fucked up. You set him up. Why would you set your cousin up for a little bit of coke? Why would you set him up? He probably told the dude that he borrowed the money from, the dude that he borrowed the coke from and gave to his cousin. He told him that my cousin didn't give me the money back. So he said, that's wild. Wow.
Okay. Am I right? Okay. You need.
Y'all hit that like button coming in. Hit that like button. I appreciate you hitting the like button. You know, screen share X, Y, and Z. But hit the like button. We have this content like every other day. The criminal content. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. I said please and thank you.
Need to get in front of this. Okay. Cameras all over the place.
Yes, he did, Elliot.
Okay. Because the other two people that you were with yesterday, am I right? What are they gonna say when they sit in front of me? Who had the beef with Travis? So who do you think they're gonna face all the blame? Yeah. So do you wanna go back and tell me what happened yesterday?
Two of my homeboys were supposed to buy weed from him, from Travis. But I know that he wasn't gonna serve them or nothing because like what me and him had going on. So this summer, I feel
Okay.
go for it.
Yeah, you saw he didn't mean this. Them other two dudes that came along, he's saying we were supposed to do a deal with two other dudes. That was my homeboy. Your two boys pulled the gun out. Your two boys pulled the gun out and did him. You know who did it. Maybe he didn't do it, but he know who did it.
So that's why I'm like dropping off on that.
That's not the fake oppressed criminal white man from town. It's called poor people. Is rich people running around with guns in their pocket doing this kind of shit. You only see this shit from people who are poor. White man from town. That includes white people, Mexican people, all kinds of people that are poor. Has nothing to do with any fake oppressed criminal bullshit. Y'all white people be killing me. Grow up.
Where did you say you dropped them off? Who were they?
No.
Okay, so Block and Derek.
Antonio told the detectives Travis sold weed mainly for the money, so he knew his cousin always had cash on him. The plan was initially to do a lick or rob Travis.
To buy weed from Travis.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you knew he had money, okay. Oh, man. Wow. Okay. So you knew your cousin had money. So you knew your cousin had money, but why would you rob your cousin of the money? I mean, wow.
Okay. How did they set that up? Like, how did that get set up?
Okay, his friend, he knew two of his friends that was going to set Travis up. They just didn't think that they were going to have to shoot Travis. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't you just go to your cousin and ask your cousin for the money? But old boy right here, he had two friends. Why would you have two friends? Anything could have went, it did go sideways. Maybe y'all meant to rob him and you just made a mistake and shot him.
What do you mean? Okay. So, Facebook messages.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Who was doing that?
Derek.
Okay. What's Derek's Facebook?
It's like low header or header low or something like that.
Header low?
Or low header.
Little, like little hitter?
Like LO header.
Okay.
HITTA.
Yeah, he got an accent. I don't know whether it's African or Caribbean. It's something. And he has an accent. Sounds like
ITTA. Okay, and what about blocks?
There's BLK. Means MEEZ.
Okay. Any numbers or anything like that? Okay.
right.
So you said You so you go. Derek's with you. Go to Block's house. Derek sets up the deal because you're like, hey, listen, if he sees me,
Yeah, I
like
don't want
he's
none
not
of that.
gonna allow it. Okay. So where do you drop him off at?
It's in
But the thing is, we haven't established that he was friend. We haven't established that he was good friends with his cousin anyway. We haven't established that, so we don't know. And if you were really, really close to your cousin, you never would have set your cousin up like this at all. Maybe he never thought his cousin would be robbed. But why wouldn't you think your friends would have guns? Okay. Why wouldn't you think your friends would have guns? Wouldn't have guns.
like a neighborhood by West Ashland.
Okay. Do you know the name of it?
No man.
Okay. We'll do this. Okay. Where do you guys park?
Maybe first like drive in.
Okay. So you take, which route do you take over there?
That's why.
How do you get there from Block's house? So Block lives on
We
Dogwood.
take 61 on down.
Take 61. Okay. And you take a left where?
Turn at the light by West Ashland.
Okay. Where do you park?
So if I understand it correctly, the police know that he had something to do with it. Maybe not that he was the one who took the shot. So if the other two took the shot, why wouldn't you be? Well, I guess you don't want to be considered snitch. I guess that may be what it is. But you either gonna go or they going. One of y'all go, one or all of y'all going. One of the two. If I know I didn't shoot him, I'm not going to prison for life or some shit like that for you.
Like the front of the neighborhood.
Okay. Go into an apartment complex, or do you just sit out there like near where the school is?
Like drive into the neighborhood.
Okay. What time do you think that was about?
Why do you, white man from town, why do you keep saying fake oppressed? What are you talking about, fake oppressed? I never heard that expression until you just put it. What are you talking about? Please, what are you talking about? Are you just trying to be sarcastic? I don't get it. What are you talking about?
To the caucus. I would keep track of time.
Okay. So what do you guys do when you get there?
Deal with, they'll pull up again. That's when.
You're doing great.
That's it.
Uh-oh, now he's starting to cry. He's starting to cry. Maybe you didn't do it. Maybe you didn't do it, but you know who did it. Okay? You know who did it. You should have been the first one to the fucking police department and said X, Y, and Z. Maybe you could have walked. Maybe you could have walked time or whatever. But now it's like you snitching on the other two. Just dumb. Criminals are just dumb.
There was almost like some funny shit. So like I was going to leave, and then that's when they saw this car pull up. So they tried to like get out the way just in case like what I was thinking it was on and what like it was really on. Like then like make sure everything good. But then that's when going into my car, they heard shots, and they went fast into my car. Like,
Where were you at when that happened?
like
Okay, he was heading to his car. He was heading to his car. I think I heard him say that. Then he heard shots and he ran to his car and got the hell on out of there. He didn't go back to see if anything was up.
just like a pond around me, and I was walking by the pond, and I like crossing the street, and I heard shots, and they left.
What apartment complex?
And I think I said to you, white man from town, this is a poor person's mindset. A poor person's mindset. Regular, ordinary people don't have this kind of behavior and mindset. Regular, ordinary people who are not poor. These are poor people, white, black, Hispanic, you name it. This is their mentality, not black people mentality. This is all poor people's mentality.
That's where you in.
I don't know. It's like right there by West Ashley Middle. I only know that area because like my job, we do that school, so I know that.
White man, you better stop. Especially if you a white man, you definitely better stop.
Yeah, so I don't know what apartment complex. I don't know it's by West Ashley Middle.
Okay. Were you hanging out there during the day? Like before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know they have
Oh
cameras.
yeah, I took them around there to meet them, but we ran around there like 2 times because he was supposed to come back. He was like procrastinating, so we was like back and forth from near the blockhouse, and then that's when he texted me and said we was on the way. And Block know somebody around there, so he had to grab some money, so I wasn't really like thinking nothing of it.
So where were you guys hanging out at while you were waiting for him?
In my car.
Okay. Your car wasn't in the apartment
And then
complex.
we walked to the back by, I don't know who house that is, but he know who house that is. And Block know who house it for, but he didn't, somebody met him, it was like a dude, he was kind of tall and like orange, I don't know what type of shirt he had on, I know like orange shirt, but it had like a symbol on it. He gave Block some money, I guess.
Okay. So you know the apartment complex for this.
White man from town, you need to answer Tyler's Wolf. You need to answer Tyler Wolf. Hi, Tyler Wolf. Yeah, goofy. White man, goofy. They churches in school. What excuse do you give to the white dudes that be shooting people up? What excuse do you give to Tyler Robinson for the things he did, shooting Charlie Kirk? What excuses do you give to the white dudes there? What's their excuse? Why they doing what they doing? It's just goofy.
Yes,
Never
ma'am.
been there. You know it's a book with cameras. So part of what you're saying, I believe, and it's hard for people, especially family, to tell the truth about what happened.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're on the right track. I know you are.
Yeah, it wasn't in the car. I had nothing to do with it.
So who shot Travis?
Them two dudes, only 2 in the car.
Okay, so they actually got in the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so tell me about that because I don't know anything about it. Where were you at?
When
I
they
know
got
you
in the
were
car-
not at your car
When they got in
because
the
I
car,
know where your car was at, obviously.
When they got in the car, I was behind the building, and that's when I heard shots and I ran.
Mike Elrich is not 85%. Y'all don't never do no math. Why y'all don't never do no math and then come in here and say dumb shit? Why you don't never do no math and come in here with the dumb shit? Man.
Okay. So what did you see?
I heard shots. I didn't see nothing. I heard shots, and when I look at like the car, like the glass, like it looked like the like smoky, and I ran like across the street to my car.
What did they say they wanted to do on the way there?
They was going half on me
Okay. What was, did they,
because
like, I guess, how did Travis end
because-
up murdered? Shot? How did
I
that
don't know,
happen?
but I don't know, man. But all I know is Derek was already like asking me, like he was like, like he was telling me that like what he wanted to rob him or whatever, but I wasn't like thinking that enough, like taking him serious because I know like he don't listen to me, but he's like he kind.
If y'all would ever do statistics, only 2% of black people are arrested and convicted of crimes. Only about 2%. Why y'all goofy and don't know? Why y'all goofy and don't know? 98% of us do not commit or are not arrested. Only about 2% of black Americans are arrested for any given crime in any typical year. Just goofy, just dumb.
kind of looks up to me. So if I tell him like no, like don't do something, he's not gonna do it. And I know for sure like he had his money with him. They had money with them. Each of them had money, so I didn't really think nothing of it. And then that's when he pulled up. They got in the car. A couple seconds later, I hear his shots. Like there was one shot, and I heard like a scream.
Why they don't know that, Tyler Wolf? Why they don't know that? Why y'all don't know that? Just dumb. Because it don't even make fucking sense. 85%. That would just blacks in the millions would be committing crime. Just dumb. Mike, you're just dumb. Do some research, please.
And then I heard like 2 more shots after that, and I ran across the street.
Did you see them with guns beforehand? Okay. What kind of gun did Derek have?
Derek had a 40, XD40. I don't know what kind of gun Brock had.
Okay. Did you see it?
I knew like it had.
Excuse me.
That's it.
Okay.
Because I couldn't see it like on his head when I was at his house.
Right.
Okay. Where did they have it at while they were driving?
No, just YouTube.
Like, was it like
on their persons?
YouTube
was
channels.
it a waistband in a pocket? I don't know. Okay. And did you saw them get in the car?
They gotta be they gotta be playing dumb. I don't understand how you come into a chat, any chat, and say 13% black people in the country and 85% of them commit crime. That's just, you just dumb at that point when you say something like that. Even the 50% that Charlie Kirk said, that was even dumb. Just you don't even have to argue with just stupidity. That don't make no sense. They don't think it makes it. They don't think so. They just dumb. They just don't know how to do statistics.
Yes, I saw them get in the car. I saw him pulled up. I hid behind the building because I know if he see me, that drug transaction wasn't going down. Next thing I know, I heard shots.
Okay. Who was in the front seat?
Derek.
Okay.
Derek get in the front seat and I got in the back.
Back behind the passenger or back behind the driver?
I think he got behind the driver. Yeah, the driver's side.
Okay. So, when was this conversation had about them wanting to rob trucks?
It was Derek.
Thank you.
Because that's what he do.
I mean, I'm fully on board with we have people who do commit crimes. I'm fully on board with that. But you got to come with the correct stats. You can't be just saying shit. Just don't say shit to me. Cause I'm gonna be pissed off at that. 85%, 13% of the population commit 50% of the crime, or they commit 85% of the crime. Either way it go, that's some dumb shit for you to say. Do your research, because you sound dumb when you say it.
And you were telling me about it, but I was like, but I don't want nothing to do with it. Like, at the end of the day, we're not seeing eye to eye, but at the end of the day, that's still blood family. Like,
So, was it while y'all were at Block's house? Was it in the car? Like, at what point in time was
no,
the
it
conversation?
was not even yesterday.
Okay, when was that?
Earlier this week or something like that.
That he talked about Robin?
That's fine.
Okay. So was he trying to hook up with Travis earlier in the week? And like,
I don't know now. I really don't know what they had going on. I know as of yesterday, they was texting about buying the week.
okay, and they were texting Travis through a phone or
Facebook.
No, they not stats, white man. You're homeless and you don't have a fucking calculator. If you don't have a fucking calculator, don't know how to figure shit out, please keep your mouth shut. 50% commit 50% of the violent crime. Wow.
Facebook. No, he was about to pull up.
They were talking.
Okay, so were they talking to him on the phone?
Yes,
or was it through Facebook? Like, I know you can do calls, or was it through like an actual cell phone number?
Actual cell phone.
Okay.
On Facebook.
Okay,
They
so
were
he
talking
was
to him on Facebook.
talking to him on Facebook. And you witnessed this.
Yes,
He said
ma'am.
he's about to pull up.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then you walked away
Yes, ma'am.
because you were like,
That's when,
hey.
like, the car pulled up. I was standing behind the building. There's a sitting in the car like 20, 30 minutes later. 30 seconds later. I just heard shots. They ran in my car.
Okay. What happened after?
I pulled up to Blockhouse, and that's when they admitted to shooting him and robbing him.
Okay.
And that's when I left and went home, because like my heart was full, like I was like puzzled, like I don't know, like not whose side to pick, but I was just like hurt about the whole situation. So I left on that Blockhouse. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened after that, but
Did you guys all get in your car?
Derek.
Derek?
Yes,
What
sir.
about Block?
Somehow this one at his house when I pulled up to
I'm
his house,
sorry.
and I was asking them what happened. Everybody was quiet. I mean, yeah, like
I just looked it up. I looked up some of it. They commit 25% of violent crimes. No, they get arrested for 25% of the violent crimes. That's what it is. That's the correct statistic. They get arrested for 25% of the crimes. Get arrested. Not convicted, not going to jail, but arrested for 25% of the crimes. Come on, y'all got to start doing math on here. And that 50% is not accurate. It ain't just two races in this country. Okay?
just quiet the whole time.
You're doing fine,
And that's when,
misinformation,
they
ma'am.
brought the bag and
We
stuff. That's how they
dealing with
what
these
happened.
degenerates on here, breaking off family
Yeah.
members.
You said brought up a bag. What bag?
Yes, I get quarters, half of half. I get that. 25% is different from 50%, right? If you got two races, then you got two races, I guess you could say 50%, but that's not how statistics work. 25% get arrested. I got to keep saying arrested, because y'all don't seem to understand arrested from actual crime, convicted. Arrested. 25% get arrested.
It was a bag that they had. I think that's like Steinmart or something, and they were saying like just like that they robbed him, and then it was like that they was fussing about prices or whatever. And after that, that's when Derek said that he just upped the gun and robbed him. And he was like he was getting out the car, and Travis like he looked like he reached for something and he shot him. And then that's when me and him like we exchanged words like, you know, like, you shot my type shit like that's why I left him at the house.
Okay. You
I
said
went home and just
Oh, okay. So he met up with the two guys that robbed his cousin. Then they explained the situation that they robbed him. They finally robbed him. They was in the car. He wasn't there. They robbed him. And then they thought they thought Travis was reaching for something. And then they shot Travis. That's what happened. They told him, did this goofy go in and report him? That's the question.
like smoking. I was asleep, like just thinking to myself like I don't know, like rather feel hurt
Probably
or
not.
rather go do something to them because like
I wonder, do you go to jail for that? Can you go to jail for that? Or, I wonder. It's called arrested. 25% get arrested. Not convicted, 25%. Okay? So you got to actually get convicted. Okay? Convicted. And that's only maybe one specific violent thing, not 50%. That's wild.
So you guys, the shooting happens. Okay. At what point in
when I
time?
get to my car, Derek was already in my car with like a Steinmart bag.
Okay. What was
I
in the
get it.
Steinmart bag?
It was weed and like promethazine syrup.
Okay.
Okay, so he left his car at some particular point. When he got back to his car, one of the dudes that robbed his cousin was in his car. And then that's when he had a conversation. How you got this bag, my cousin's bag?
I want to say like 2 or 3 bottles, and then it was like 2 big ass bags of weed.
Okay. Any money or anything?
Not that I saw.
Okay. And Derek said that what was the conversation?
I asked him what happened. Like in the car the whole time on the way back to the workhouse, he was like, calm down and worry about it, calm down and worry about it. And that's when we got the block house, and he just like, I noticed like, you know, like, yeah, something just like the way they was acting towards me. So I kept asking like, what the in that car, like what happened? And then that's when Block finally was telling me, and then he was like, don't be mad at them, but they had to do what they had to do because he was about to shoot them.
Oh, don't be mad at Block and Derek.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They didn't know, man. I just really didn't know.
So yeah, so he's finally admit that he knows. Finally, they shot him. They finally got back to him and shot him. So shot his cousin. So he know he wasn't a part of them shooting him, but he knew that they were gonna try to rob him.
So when did you find out that Travis passed?
Yesterday, my dad was tapping me. I'm like a hard sleeper. So, no, when I got in the country, I saw like this news article, and I noticed like, you know, like
That shit don't even make sense, white man from town. Your talking points are becoming more and more erratic. I have no idea what you mean about abortion, Dr. George Floyd. What? What?
I knew that was like the area that the news article said was by the school, so I didn't really.
It don't even make
I
sense.
really knew what happened. But after what they told me, I just put the two and two together, and then that's when I was just kept looking at the news article, kept refreshing it. I was like, I knew they didn't do this to my brother. Like at the end of the day, like that's still like no matter what me and him had going on, that's still family. Like,
Yeah, but the thing is, why didn't you try to go and find your family? Why didn't you try to go and find your friend? Why didn't you go and try to find your friend, your cousin? If you were that concerned about your cousin, why didn't you go try to find him? See if he was okay. Did you call him and see if he was okay? Did you try to get in touch with him after you found out they may have shot him? Did you do that?
Yeah.
So I was telling him, I was like just talking to myself, just like trying to like, you know, like get my mind together, and that's when I refreshed the news article, and it says something about police said the victim has died or something.
Antonio denied being the one who actually pulled the trigger killing his cousin. He said it was someone else, Block, whose real name is Brian Cease. But Brian, aka Block, denied pulling the trigger too.
They already told us, okay?
They couldn't tell you nothing about me, I promise.
Why do you think
Why do
you're
you
here?
think that
Why
we're
do you think you're
sitting
here?
showing you
They
pictures?
told
Surveillance
us.
cameras don't lie.
Told you what?
They told us that you are a cold-blooded killer. That's what they told us.
You dumb. You sound dumb, white man from town. Why do you keep saying DEI? As though who would be qualified to be on a fucking bench? Who would be qualified to be on a fucking bench? See, that's the problem with some of you white folks. Just because you're white doesn't mean you deserve to be on the bench and nobody else deserves to be on the bench. Why do you keep saying DEI as though nobody deserves to be on the bench except somebody white? That's fucked up. That's the problem I have with you white folks. You're not the only person on this planet. There's other people just as smart as you, and they deserve to be on the bench. Just like every other white person. Just shut up. Just shut up if you don't know.
It is
That you are a
ridiculous.
cold-blooded murderer and that you shot this guy. That's what they told us. That you killed this guy. Why do you think you're sitting in here?
I ain't killing nobody, man.
They're both pointing at you. You're on the camera, you're there.
You said, this is me, this is little
You're
bro,
there.
that's AJ.
Tell us what
This
happened.
is literally right before the shooting. And I know, that's why I'm asking, who set this thing up? Who set it up?
Man, I just was bouncing away from it.
Okay. How did you get to that point where you're in the car?
I walked to the store to meet them. We went down there. We walking. He said he's going to meet the guy. And that's all I know about it. I got my weed, and that was it.
Well, a lot of it, other shit happened in the
That don't got shit to do with me.
But anyone who follows true crime knows that just because you didn't pull the trigger doesn't mean you can't face a murder charge. Antonio Green was charged with murder, armed robbery, and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. The men who were also there, Brian, aka Block, and Derek, whose real name is Derek Stewart, were also charged. Antonio went on trial for his cousin's murder this year. His co-defendant Derek Stewart reportedly testified all three went to Travis's car that was parked at the Pinecrest Green Apartments for drugs. When Travis gave a higher price than what was agreed to, that's when things escalated. Derek testified that the price Travis wanted was more money than Block had with him. So Block pulled out a gun and put it to Travis's head. Then, according to Derek, Antonio also pulled out his gun. Derek testified Antonio handed him the backpack of weed and he took off running, and that's when he heard multiple gunshots. Derek told the jury Block killed Travis because he had to. But even if Derek confirmed Antonio didn't pull the trigger killing Travis, his testimony might have still helped seal Antonio's fate. A jury found him guilty of his cousin's murder, and he was sentenced to 33 years in prison. As for his co-defendants, Derek took a plea for voluntary manslaughter for lesser prison time. As for Brian Seas, aka Block, he was also found guilty and sentenced to 30 years in prison as well. Online records show both Antonio Green and Brian Seas are in the custody of the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
That's wild. You was there. You pretending like you wasn't there. You set your cousin up. You were in the car, but you weren't the one who pulled the trigger. But you knew who pulled the trigger and you grabbed all of the shit out of the car. Okay. So it was your fault. It was primarily your fault. This is your cousin. So yeah, he was trying to put it off on somebody else instead of saying he did what he did. Okay. You set your cousin up. Goofy shit people be doing. How you setting your cousin up for murder? And you were related to this person. This person you broke bread with, lived with. How does a family even recover after somebody doing this kind of shit? That's the problem. How does the family recover after you doing some shit? So y'all got 33 years each, 33 and 30 years each. So y'all ain't gonna see the light of day till y'all old men. Yeah, maybe he felt a little remorse, but he probably only felt remorse because he knew he was going to do some serious time behind this kind of murder. Sometimes you got to think about this shit before you get into the car. Your pride going to let you run you down the wrong way. That's crazy. That's crazy. And for the record, DEI, for you dummies out there who keep saying DEI, you got to have the credentials even before they pick you. So if they pick you, you in black, they ain't just picking you because you the color that they want. You at least got to have the qualifications. You at least qualified for the fucking position. I keep hearing people say DEI. What the fuck does that mean? You still got to be qualified to even get to the point of getting the fucking job. Just dumb. And white women, then gay people benefit more for DEI. It wasn't black people who benefited. Last people who benefited from DEI was black men. Just dumb. Look at the statistics. Stop shouting out DEI when you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. White women benefited more for DEI than anybody else. The next case was this goofy who apparently she offed her children for some bullshit. Let's see why she offed her children.
Show Paternity Court, trying to figure out who the father was of one of her children. This image is per Paternity Court's YouTube channel. Now, this mom is accused of the unthinkable, allegedly shooting 4 of her kids, killing 2 of them. What we're learning about her past from her time on Paternity Court to what she said about parenting just a couple of weeks ago. We're on The Case, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. Before I get into what this mom allegedly has been saying on social media about parenting and her time on that reality television show, I want to break down with you the horrifying scene that law enforcement in Texas say they came upon on Saturday of last week. It was October 4th. Police say they were called to this gas station in Brazoria County, Texas. That's south of Houston. It was around 5 o'clock in the morning.
white man from town. I ain't heard you say nothing about the white boys that been killing folks lately. What about the white boys? Tell us about the white boys. Where they come from? What's their background? Tell us about the white boys. Stop. We understand what you're gonna say about the black folk. Tell us about the white boys that been shooting. Tell us about Tyler Robinson. Tell us about that. Tell us about that. Raised in a Catholic, white, straight Mormon household. Tell us about the white boys that been shooting people, killing people. The people on or the little boy that shot people on the day that Charlie Kirk died. Tell us about those people right there. It's more y'all that commit crime than it is black people.
Morning. The 911 caller, they say, was Oninda Romelis. Deputies said that they didn't know why they were responding to this gas station, but when they arrived, they found that her 4 children were shot. They were inside the car. 2 children were dead, a 13-year-old boy and 3-year-old girl. 2 other children.
No, because every day we hear about a white boy doing something crazy. I just looked up how many people got killed and how in the last week. Just dumb.
Children were injured. They are now in stable
condition. Y'all
they
dominate
are 8 years
news.
old and 9 years old. Deputies say that it's unclear if Romelis fired the gunshots in this gas station's parking lot, or did she allegedly do it somewhere else? Surveillance video allegedly shows her getting out of the car, getting gas, talking on her phone before deputies arrive. Authorities say they believe the gunshots were fired inside the car, but other than that, a lot of this is still a mystery. At a news conference on Sunday, law enforcement would not share too much detail. Here's part of what they said per Fox 26 in Houston.
We've been burning the midnight oil on this ever since this dropped, right? So I can assure you we're looking into this.
But then we received the court documents that have shown what Romelis allegedly told detectives after they took her into custody. Now, according to these court records, Romelis was asked whether she wanted to continue talking with authorities, and she said yes. Now, at first, when she was asked why she called 911, she said she couldn't talk about it. But when she was asked again about calling 911, she allegedly said, quote, "Instead of them doing it to me, I'm going to do it to them." Then, when the investigator asked, quote, "Do what?" Romelis allegedly said, quote, "Kill them all." Romelis then said she didn't call 911. She allegedly said she called, quote, "the devil."
Y'all hitting the like or the put the like button. Hit the like button. I need all the engagement I can get. Hit the like button, please and thank you. Please and thank you. Hit the like button. You hit the door, hit the like button, please.
As Romelis continued talking, she said that she was ready to work, which detectives write in the court document that it just didn't make sense. Romelis did allegedly say that she had 4 children and said their names and their ages correctly, but when asked where they were, she allegedly said, quote, "the devil." When asked what she meant by that, she said, quote, "they're dead," and quote, "because you can't take me without me taking you." Now, at their news conference, deputies would not discuss anything related to the custody of the children or the family situation involving these children before the shooting. But we have learned that the question of paternity with at least one of these children, it has been raised before. In fact, it was raised very publicly on a TV show called Paternity Court. The episode is still public on YouTube. Now, the episode was about learning who the father was of an 18-month-old boy. Now, it is unclear if that child is one of the victims in this case, but his age does match up with the age of the 13-year-old who was killed. That boy found slumped over inside the car, according to deputies when they arrived at that gas station. Before I get back to this episode of On the Case,
I don't even know what the hell you just said. I don't even know what the hell you just said about Taylor Robinson. You don't know what the hell you talking about. Taylor Robinson was upset that Charlie Kirk wouldn't be intellectually dishonest with himself about some dude's fascination with female. See, that don't even make sense. You can't be babbling. You can't just be saying anything. Okay? You can't just be saying anything. And apparently you saying anything, okay? Stop saying anything, white man, because that don't even make sense. I don't know what you're saying. But
scan this QR code on your screen or click the link below.
Okay.
We also found an Instagram page that appears to show Romulus posting content as recently as September 27th. Now, this is the post on that day in September. The video has the caption, quote, "Mama gotta have a life too." And here's the caption on the post that reads, quote, "'Cause what it really do. You're not a bad B word if you're a terrible mother. To all my mamainas handling biz and did not handle biz this week, baby, go to happy hour, bleep them kids." Deputies say they are investigating the home where Romulus and her kids lived, which was more than an hour away north of Houston in Montgomery County, Texas. It is still unclear why Romulus and her children inside that vehicle were in the county south of Houston, again, an hour away.
She was mentally unstable. She was spiraling out of control. Don't y'all know that people, you have to think, all them damn kids, you don't know how to take birth control. All them damn kids. Woo. Mentally, it take a toll on you mentally.
Saturday morning when she called 911 allegedly. Romulus is now facing 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Bond is set at $5 million each for each murder count and $2 million for each aggravated assault count for a total of $14 million. Law enforcement would not speculate on a motive in this case. We still don't know that. KHOU-TV is reporting that CPS has made contact with Romulus in the past, but the details of that interaction has not been made public. Now, as far as any sort of criminal record for Romulus, this mugshot is from 2022, and it was for an arrest in Georgia in Fayette County. It was related to a DUI, possession of marijuana, failure to maintain lane, and having an improper tag. Court records show that she pleaded guilty to the DUI and improper tag charges, and prosecutors decided not to pursue the 2 other charges she was facing. Joining us now to talk more about this from Texas is Anthony Asso, criminal.
They already got her for the 2 murders. She got 2 murders that she murdered her 2 kids. So they only need her for the 2 murders. They don't need her for nothing else. They got her for the 2 murders. Okay, so she ass out. They got her for them 2 murders. So they don't want to pursue anything else. There ain't no point in pursuing anything else if they can prove that she killed 2 of her children.
Defense attorney and a former assistant district attorney. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. I know this is an incredibly sad case.
Yes.
Just initially from what we've learned, and there isn't a lot from deputies, but what do you just take away about the evidence that it seems that they have to this point?
Well, I think it's...
But we're not asking you, white man, about the murder. We're asking you about the statistics. What's the statistics of you 13? You say 13% did 80%, 85%, or 50% or whatever. What you all are 69%. White folks are 69% of the murders. You trying to tell us that they only did 15% of the crime, 15% of the murders? Come on now, that don't make sense. Y'all the biggest population, 69%, and y'all only do 15% of the murders? That don't make no sense. The math don't math.
Largely that they're relying on the 911 phone call, as well as probably interviews from the 2 children that survived the shooting, which, while eyewitness interviews are typically strong testimony, it's her own children. So I think that they're going to really want to work to build up more evidence that will corroborate the testimony of those 2 other children.
Yeah, and the 2 children.
Oh, okay, the 2 children that she didn't kill were older. Oh, okay. Maybe they can talk and say.
Who survived? I mean, they're both minors. How do you go about, I mean, from the prosecution standpoint of making sure that you have a story that you could use in court,
right?
Considering these kids are so young, I believe they're 8 and 9 years old who survived.
Oh, okay.
Well, you want to find, in addition,
so they old enough to talk. They old enough to say who shot them. Okay.
It's just testimonial evidence. You're going to want to look for all the direct physical evidence that could corroborate what happened, right? So they're going to be looking at the shell casings on the scene. My understanding is that these shootings occurred at a gas station. So we're going to want to look for surveillance video to find out if there's any footage that will corroborate the child witnesses' statements. Because not only are they young witnesses, but they're also the children of the defendant in this case. And so in addition to...
Okay, so the children are the ones that are testifying. They getting statements from the kids. Oh my goodness. That's your kids put you in jail. You did it in front of the kids and they put you in jail.
all the emotional trauma that they're dealing with right now.
Right. That's
When
wild.
it comes down to time to potentially testify in some sort of trial setting,
Right.
their emotions and feelings could be kind of up in the air.
She's being held on a $14 million bond.
Y'all hit the like button coming in and out. Hit the like button coming in and out. Okay? Tag the like button, subscribe if you would like to have content like this. Do your thing. But please hit the like button. Hit the like button, please, and hit the hate button. Whatever you like or hate, hit the button, please. Thank you.
And I know in a lot of states, and typically you don't see bond that high.
No.
How does it work in Texas where some
She poor. She ain't getting out of jail. That's $14 million. She ain't going nowhere. Y'all know she ain't. You could have made the bond 50 G's. She still wouldn't have got out of jail.
someone could actually be, and I know they broke it down with the 2 murder charges are $5 million apiece, and then the 2 aggravated assault charges with a deadly weapon, I believe it was. Or
Yeah, Zagu, I got plenty of haters. Every scream every show I do, I have at least 4 or 5 haters. So hit the like or the hate button, but hit a button, please and thank you.
$2 million apiece, bringing it to 14. How does that work in Texas?
Well, in just like any other state, Texas has to abide by the Constitution. So you can't use bail in order to oppress somebody, and everyone's entitled to bail. However, in Texas, if they put on a proof evident hearing and
but they got to do a mental check, because you would have to be mental in order to do this to your kid. We know you got to have something going on out the ordinary for you to have shot your children. So I'm assuming that they doing a mental health check, and there's got to be something going on. Look at the way she talk, put her sentences and shit together.
I think we could anticipate that there could be a capital murder charge in this case. We don't have that much information yet, but in the event that Brazoria does file capital murder, and they did intend to seek death in this case, they could have a proof evident hearing and ultimately hold the defendant at no bond. But without doing that, and just on murder charges, she's entitled to bail, and I do think that amount is high, so we'll likely see her defense attorneys file a writ in an effort to lower the bond. Still, I imagine that the bonds will be out of reach for her in these cases.
Well, we're pretty sure they're going to be out of reach, right? They're going to be out of reach. She ain't going to be able to get out, and that's fine. But have you all thought that maybe it's mentally something going on? She didn't do this just for clout. Nobody does this for clout. So why did she do it?
Because, and still, I mean, we haven't learned a lot about what exactly links her to this shooting. Deputies have said that they believe it happened in the car. They're still figuring out exactly where. They were asked about the murder weapon. It was unclear whether they actually have that. When it comes to a bond hearing in the short term, I mean, what would be the argument that a defense attorney could have to try and lower her bond? And also the other part of it is, what's the point of even lowering it if it would be an amount over $1 million that she might not be able to afford?
Sure. I think it's just, regardless, it's your responsibility as her lawyer to get the bond as low as possible in an effort to try and help her make that bond. Putting together a defense is going to be a lot more successful if you're able to communicate with your client. And the reality is if your client is in custody, that's harder. It's harder to have communication with them. I think the arguments that the defense will likely make are that she's got no criminal history. And I think that they'll probably argue her financial means in this case. But with the facts, as far as from what we've seen so far, I think the prosecution will just rely on the facts. And it wouldn't surprise me if the judge didn't budge on the bail amount.
Because it doesn't matter how much bail you don't give her, she not getting out of jail. Ain't nobody putting up no money for somebody who off their kids. Most people don't put up their money. We do not care. Mess with kids, go to jail or psych ward, whatever. But you got to go away from. Of course, absolutely. I believe in that, Zagu. But this is United States, and every person is deserved they just day in court. She has to have her just due in court, okay? Habeas corpus and due process and all that other bullshit. Despite what this fucked up orange thug in the White House seems to think. You do have to have your day in court, okay? So she has to have her day in court. She has her kid's statement. The kids have statements. They were there, so they would know, right?
You read through some of the court documents, and she made some very bizarre, scary statements, saying things like her children are with the devil. She said, kill them all. On one hand, that could be very incriminating, but on the other hand, you would look and say that this isn't someone who maybe is in the right state of mind. How does the law see a statement like that of whether an insanity defense could be coming?
Yeah, Chris, so the law in Texas, when it comes to insanity, basically states that you have to establish that the person.
Why do y'all have her dancing on camera like that? She's not dancing on camera. This person off their kids. Y'all didn't have a still picture of her. Y'all got to have a picture of her dancing like she really didn't care about her kids. That's not how you do it normally. You don't normally have people on here dancing and acting up when they care about the kid. I had to look at the other footage to see, or the other cases, to see whether you done portrayed other people like this. Why are you portraying her like she don't care at all? She could be a goofy. She could be one of the cuckoo birds. And you never know, okay? So you're tainting the jury before they even get to the jury box, okay? Because they could be looking at these things saying, oh, yeah, she was dancing. She didn't have not a care in the world. That's not the case. The statement that they with the devil belies the fact that she's enjoying what she did. She sounded like a cuckoo bird. Why y'all portraying her like she ain't no cuckoo bird, like she knew what she was doing?
Wasn't aware of the consequences of their actions. So they really couldn't process what they were doing at the time that the offense was committed. It's a really high standard, and you don't often see successful insanity defenses. They do occur, but it's definitely the exception to the rule.
Right.
So I think statements like that are something that the defense.
I didn't know that it was difficult to prove cuckoo bird antics. I didn't know that. I thought some stuff would be obvious, but then again, some people are just evil, and then they just portray you as evil instead of saying, okay, the person is a cuckoo bird, and don't get excited. I didn't know. I didn't know that it was difficult to prove someone was on that goofy scale. So if it's difficult for us to prove that you're on the goofy scale, unless you just absolutely present proof that say like you ain't eating your shit and drinking piss and shit like that. So he's saying it's a difficult case to prove that she's crazy.
At least would tip the defense off to explore in this case, especially when we're talking about first-degree murder charges or potentially capital murder, where a defendant faces life without parole in prison. The defense has to explore every single avenue, whether that's is she the person that actually committed the offense? Was she acting in self-defense, or did she do it, but was she insane at the time and unable to process what was going on? So I think we'll certainly see the defense explore that avenue in this case.
What would be the point where the defense could actually make that argument? Because it's one thing that she makes these statements in spur of the moment. I haven't seen anything that she's had any sort of history with mental health in the past. Maybe she has an undiagnosed disorder that could explain some of this activity. How does both the prosecution and defense kind of explore that and figuring out whether that would be a viable defense for her?
Well, the first line for the defense in this case is going to be
mental health evaluation. Mental health.
To have her evaluated and to look at the facts and look at the overall investigation in this case, because they're not going to be able to establish that she was acting out of insanity if they don't have an expert testify to that effect. You've got to then notify the state if you intend to use that kind of evidence in a trial. So I imagine the state would have their own expert to conduct a similar evaluation.
Right.
To counter that, I think the prosecution is likely going to rely on the circumstances surrounding the shooting in this case, right? The fact that Ms. Romelis left the scene is going to be something that they would rely upon to say, look, you fled in an effort to avoid getting in trouble, which goes so that you had recognition of the consequences of your actions. So it's sort of the circumstances surrounding the shooting that I think the state will heavily rely on.
If it was found, and I'm just thinking off the top, say she's schizophrenic and she's never known that she was schizophrenic, and they find through this evaluation that she is. I mean, what's the bar still, even if that was the case, what makes the bar so high to actually use an insanity defense?
Well, you could rely, I mean, the schizophrenic, her suffering from schizophrenia could be probative for the defense, but it's a matter of tying that in to this instant offense and showing that due to that schizophrenic episode, that the defendant couldn't process what they were doing. And so you have to create that nexus. And I think that's what makes the bar so high here. I think finding an expert to testify to say, hey, look, a lot of people won't say, a lot of people won't say schizophrenia could lead to that, or could lead to you not recognizing what's going on. So it's having an evaluation that shows that, in fact, she didn't realize what she was doing at the time she shot her 2 children. So,
or if she has a history, if she already has a history, it's already in play. It's already on record that she has a history. It's already on record that she's had mental problems. They said she only hit the, what is that? CPS. They only been with her briefly or talked to her briefly. Maybe she never had any issues whatsoever. You never know, but if we got to find out. They got to find out. They got to run tests.
I think that's what creates a high bar.
And even beyond that, because if they file capital murder charges and say they seek the death penalty in this case because she shot 4 kids allegedly, killing 2 of them, on the flip side of it, let's say she was found not guilty by reason of insanity. Like, what would life look like for her? And I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves of where we are in this, but just thinking that one possibility could eventually be the death penalty, what would be on the flip side of that if the insanity defense actually worked out?
Yeah, that's a good question, Chris, because I think there's a general assumption that someone would then just walk free. And the reality is they don't. There's a structured period of time where when somebody's found not guilty by reason of insanity, that they can still, they're incarcerated, but they're typically in a state mental hospital until there's a restoration of their sanity and competency. So you don't just walk away from that without any sort of, I wouldn't use the word punishment, but ongoing treatment for.
I don't think many of those people walk out of those jails or those mental facilities, okay anyway. I mean, not really early. I don't know. I don't know the process of that. It'd be interesting to find out what kind of years or whatnot. What's the percentage of people who walk out of mental facilities after they've committed crimes like this? Sane.
Whatever mental illness you were struggling with at the time. But I do think, whether or not they can mount an insanity defense, I do think if there was any mental health, that's something the defense would use in an effort to sort of mitigate.
But you notice they only showing her dance.
Offer she might receive from the state before a trial ever.
Like she don't care. Like you tainting the jury. You're letting the jury know that maybe she didn't care all that much. Maybe she didn't care all that much. This is the way it comes across.
And I know that you've worked cases in this county. In a case like this, if they do have the evidence that they believe that they have, or at least that they've kind of insinuated to us that they've had, that seems like they have a pretty strong case. I mean, how likely is it that prosecutors would offer a deal down the line if it's something where it seems like she would get the death penalty for this?
Well, assuming that they have the facts they need to make this case, and there's not.
That's the only route they're going to go in order to spare her life, is to say she's cuckoo somehow, some way.
Support that she was acting out of any mental health episode. I think they're going to be really hard pressed to get any sort of offer. The defense would be hard pressed to get any sort of offer that would resolve this case. I imagine that they're probably there's going to be long sentences. I mean, I think we could see, and if they were to file a capital murder charge, we could easily see an offer of life without parole or a life sentence offering in this case.
Right.
And so under those circumstances, it typically leads to trials.
And I know you work in Houston, and she lives in Montgomery County, which just looking at a map is north of the city. And then Brazoria County is south of Houston. It seems like these are, just in terms of trying to figure out exactly what happened. I mean, they say call 911 around 5 o'clock in the morning Saturday. She's at this gas station south of the city, very far away from where she lives. Just the geographic part of this, as someone who lives in Houston, what stands out to you?
Well, it's odd. I think the time of day, obviously, at that hour being, because Montgomery County and Brazoria County, specifically where Miss Ramelis lived, That's about an hour and a half to an hour 45 minutes away.
Mhm.
So she's at a random gas station at 5:30 in the morning with all of her kids in the back seat. It's definitely, I see investigators wanting to find out more about why she was down there.
Right.
And the way they're going to do that, I think, will be through cell phone examination. So they'll probably get a warrant to search that phone and talk to witnesses that knew more about her life.
And then just if
Right.
I think of the defense attorney that's going to get this case, and let's say the mental health argument, the insanity defense is just not there. How do you approach this case with her and defend someone if the prosecution, it seems that
I would drop my kids off at a damn church or anything else before I try to off some kid or off some human beings. I would drop them off at a church or hospital, tell them I don't want them, I can't take them, I'm mentally stressed, X, Y, and Z. What the hell?
they feel like they have a pretty strong case that they have the person responsible for what happened to these kids?
Well, it's hard to say what specifically a defense lawyer is going to do without knowing the entirety of the investigation. But there's a lot of things they'll probably want to harp in on. They're going to want to listen to the statement of the two other children. They're going to want to look at the crime scene and look to see whether the crime, whether the investigation was conducted properly. Were chain of custodies when it comes to the ballistics on scene done properly? Did they do DNA in this case? And just when you look at the big picture, trying to find the holes in the investigation where the police didn't do their job like they're supposed to.
This is why I always encourage women, don't have any children unless you're married. Don't have any children unless you got a mate. You got somebody to help to take the burden off of you. Cause you can't function. You ain't function correctly if you don't have nobody to take the burden off of you. And you got 4 damn kids. Just keep having them. Nobody wants you. No man wants you. You got 4 men that screwed around with you and didn't help you take care of kids.
I think that would be a start. I also think that there might not be mental health issues, but there's certainly things that you could look back on and try to find about Miss Ramelis that might mitigate why
saying he don't think she has mental health. She don't think she's cuckoo bird. Just the crime alone would make you know that something is going on mentally.
She did this, right? So you're going to want to look at her childhood and kind of dig back every layer of her life to see if there's things in her life that were traumatic that might lead her to act or respond in a certain way.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at this reality television show and to just think of, the place that someone would be to even go on a show like that. And
these days you don't know nobody but people who had sex before they get married.
That kind of the story that a defense can tell eventually when we get down the line. If this were to go to trial, just knowing how, I know you've done work in this county. So this happens on Saturday, October 4th. Now it's Tuesday, so it's been a couple days. I mean, what would trial?
If I was young and I was in the game again, if I was in any kind of game again, I definitely would not be out here having no damn babies. That's for damn sure. Ain't no way I'd be out there having no kids and I didn't have no husband. This is wild. These women just have babies anyway. Stop having babies. You ain't got a husband. Stop having babies.
Big population.
Get on
I don't
birth control.
foresee this case going to trial within the next year and a half. I think more likely we're looking at 2. And especially when it comes to murder cases and a murder of a child, there are going to be boatloads of discovery. I don't think the investigation stops.
Y'all make sure y'all hitting that like button, please, and thank you. On the way out the door, please and thank you.
Or should be writing warrants again to get into electronics that belong to her to try and establish motive and understand why it is that she did what she did. So in the event that the defense makes some sort of mental insanity argument or that there was mental health and she wasn't really acting like herself, they can say, no, look, this is a motive that she had going into the shooting that day. I can't say whether or not that evidence exists, but I think that this investigation will be ongoing for quite some time.
Yeah, I know that law enforcement there in that county have said that they're burning the midnight oil, trying to figure out exactly how this could happen. Horrific case. Anthony Asso, criminal defense attorney, thank you for taking the time to be with us on Law and Crime. We appreciate it.
Yeah, so They don't have any need to move further on this kind of fast on this kind of trial, because she's gonna be in there for a long time. You're the person that did it. That's the whole point. You're overwhelmed with having children. That's part of the problem. Having kids early. You're out there fucking. You're not taking no birth control. Ain't thought to take no birth control. Why would you be out here having sex? I don't understand where we get this. We got to keep having sex. And then we don't cover ourselves. We don't take care of ourselves. We don't protect ourselves. We just continue to have kids. Just be out here. So some of these people are slow, mentally slow, uneducated. Most populations, the American public, at least I'd say at least a good 40% of y'all are on the low end of the scale of education. And that means somebody should have took a hold of you and said, hey, let me march you down here to get you on birth control so you won't have all these kids. So you'll be informed about that. It used to be in the schools. Contraception, that kind of thing, learn how to have a baby, learn how to take care of yourself. All those things used to be in the schools. I don't know whether they're in schools now or not. You see how the birth rate exploded when you took that kind of stuff out of school? Because when I was young, we had that. When I was a kid, we had different types of classes in middle school. Cooking classes, wood shop, woodwork, piano, band, sex education. We had all those things in middle school. So we learned about those things before we got into high school. So we knew about condom. We knew where to go. We knew X, Y, and Z. And we knew what would happen if we got pregnant. These days, people just having babies. Ain't on no birth control. Having babies at 13, 14. Women not protecting their kids. Men not protecting their kids. Older men preying on these young girls. Having sex with young girls, getting them pregnant. This society is messed up. It's kind of messed up. But these are two cases that we ran across today. Two cases that should not have happened. You set your cousin up, get your cousin killed, murdered, you in the vicinity, you right there, you gonna rob your cousin. You hating on your cousin, you jealous of your cousin, so you allow somebody to rob your cousin, you allow somebody to pull the trigger on your cousin. You piece of shit, and you deserve to go to prison. In this case right here, we don't know whether she got any mental issues, she got anything going on. We don't know nothing about it. All we know is you put some bullets or something into your children. And your other children survive, so those children can tell the tale. Take the statements from the kids. So apparently they don't believe you have a mental issue. There's something going on with you. And, good riddance. Godspeed. You deserve to go to prison if you ain't mentally cuckooed up. And, I feel sorry for the children knowing that your mother put a gun to the other children and they ended the life of those children and try to end yours. So this ends please hit the like button and subscribe button. It'd be great. We always go through this thing every other day. We do some crimes that happened this week. We'll probably have some more on Saturday morning. I appreciate y'all stopping by. And I will see you all later for the Charlie, for the undoing of the Charlie at Cambridge. We're just going to go over some things with Charlie, see where his arguments were, see whether he could get any of those kids to be on his side, whether he convinced any of the kids or not, or his rhetoric worked over there or it didn't. I appreciate y'all. showing up. Hit the like button going out the door.